It's been over 5 years since Red Dead Redemption 2 reinvigorated renown for the Western, and to this day, gamerfolk are still finding fascinating features within the game, be it the many Easter eggs scattered around the map, or the meanings behind Red Dead's many hidden messages. Channels like Strange Man upload these atmospherically awesome videos explaining the lore and theories behind every detail hidden behind every rock. However, I believe we've reached a point where the number of newfound factoids have utterly diminished, leaving those who love and still play Red Dead 2 to do the only thing left. Analyze the actual game. That is the story, the characters, the themes, the thing which Rockstar actually made. Now, I've seen the thumbnails for a lot of analyses, most notably of Arthur and Dutch, and, well, that's basically it, but I see you, Cynic, you've put in the work.
That's what I like to see.
Though, in truth, I haven't watched too many of any of these kinds of videos because I have my own thoughts, and I hope to reach the conclusions I do without borrowing from other creators. So, if I happen to repeat something another reviewer has said, please know that my intentions are never to steal ideas. If anything, that would just show how on point we all are with our collective understanding. Now, as for this introduction, I plan for this particular analysis to be the first part of an undetermined number of parts video. If analyses like this are what you're into, leave a like and let me know what other media I ought to cover. For now, let's begin the Red Dead Redemption 2 meg-analysis by going over every chapter of the full story in one fell swoop. An overture kind of overview. The kind that serves as a backbone for the meatier parts of the critique to fall into place nice and neat. Though instead of explaining the meaning of what happens in every chapter, I'm instead electing to analyze the places where the gang sleeps during those chapters. I am, of course, talking about the camps. Is it possible that these temporary homes have foundationally fixed narrative depth? Well, let's be thematic prospectors together, shall we, as we dig deeper into Red Dead Redemption 2 by first exploring the meaning of the abandoned town of Colter. After escaping the law in Blackwater, the Vanderlyn gang find themselves trapped in a terrible snowstorm. With Arthur Morgan, among others, having scouted ahead, he reports to say that he found some shelter. But what kind of shelter?
An old mining town. Abandoned. It ain't far.
Thankfully, there's enough room for everyone. There's a main hall, a cabin of bunk beds, a barn for the horses, and a large cabin with multiple bedrooms. Already, there's so much to discuss here. First of all, the name. Colter is likely named after John Colter, a member of the Lewis and Clark expedition. His efforts in exploration include discovering passes through the Rocky Mountains that wagons can cross, as well as traversing the area now known as Yellowstone Park. Colter is perhaps less prominent than Lewis or Clark, but no doubt he's still an important American pioneer. Such a name reflects the nature of these past adventures. That's the key word there. Past. The pioneers played a critical role in settling the West, but just as the opening of the game suggests,
Those days are over.
the matter is settled. There's nothing left to discover. There's nothing left to mine. As in, there are no more tangible resources to retrieve in this retrograde way of life. It's neither feasible nor viable to continue living in this particular town for its particular purpose. There's not even a functional church anymore, so the faithful will have to go elsewhere, lest they stay and suffer the consequences, given that the chapel's foundation is gone and has no protection against the outside world. This is where the game begins, and it's exactly, allegorically, where the gang ends up. Their way of life is already over. There is no viability and no future in this small nation of nomadic outlaws. The game was rigged from the start. Davy was dead to begin with, and what happens in Blackwater stays with us for the entire game. And that's just foreshadowing the story. There's also the whole issue of the camp's sleeping arrangements to consider. But look who's given priority here. Dutch, his lover Molly, Hosea, his persevering partner, and Arthur,
My boy.
they all inhabit the biggest and coziest cabin in the camp. There's 2 bedrooms, a fireplace, counter space, there's even an extra cot that I'm assuming is for Hosea. Even though he sleeps on the ground in later camps, so I guess it's generous of Dutch in this moment, but...
Go to bed!
Oh boy, there's so much room for more than 4 people, but Dutch's closest family gets the most special treatment. They could have fit a few more souls in here, but the rest of the less important bodies had to be put elsewhere. The boys get the bunk beds, that is the boys who can fight, and the rest of them, you know, what Micah calls
Too many mouths to feed.
the ones who cannot make real money for the gang are assigned to the hall. Even John,
Even you.
has his own tent in later camps, but he's assigned to the hall at this time at the back of the room. Of course, John's injuries are the reason this bed arrangement makes sense, practically, but it also adds to the idea that subtly, in Dutch's mind, if you're not useful to him, then you're just extra. Not additional, but extra. That is, more of something that's not a real part of the main thing. Never forget how Dutch behaves in the very first mission.
Get indoors, son. We need you strong.
He is already compromised. The gang is doomed from the very beginning. As the first camp in the game, Colter quietly tells us every secret of the gang's outcome. There is no future here, no morality, and no life. There is only death.
If we don't stop soon, we'll all be dying.
Ain't that the truth?